Hi, my name is Anna Koppar. I am director at TP Theatre in Sweden. In the next minutes, I will together with two actors introduce you on how to conduct an interview on the decision-making process. We will take part of glimpses of the 4 steps of the methods, as well as do's and don'ts. The decision-making interview will in this demonstration be on young people dropping out from school, though the methodology may be used in a wide range of contexts and situations, both professional and personal. The decision-making interview could be used, for example, in the social and health sector. It can be applied on issues such as communication difficulties, to support disadvantaged groups in daily life, in management situations between professionals or other. In personal situations, it could be applied, for example, on conflict in family or to increase communication between parents and teenagers. It may be used in other psychosocial issues as well. In the following demonstration, we will meet a teacher that's being interviewed about a problematic situation at school with a student. In this first step, the interviewer will ask for a description of a situation that the narrator has been a part of. Remember to, as an interviewer, keep a neutral but friendly attitude. Listen and take notes. And stop the narrative based on appropriate criteria like "that's it" and "don't." Interrupt the narrator. Judge or evaluate what's being said.
Hey, thank you.
So, how have you been?
I had a horrible morning, to be honest.
I can tell that you're upset.
Yeah, I am.
Would you like to talk about it?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know, I had a really stressful morning and I didn't get much sleep. I'm not really sure why, but when I got to school there was a big argument and it was absolutely the least I needed, so...
So, what happened?
It's a student in my class. It's a boy. His name is Andrew, and it's been disputes over and over ever since he started my class the last semester. And I don't know. His parents got divorced recently. I'm not really sure if that's got anything to do with it, but I heard it was kind of turbulent. His father left for another family, and ever since then his grade has dropped, and now he can't get along with anybody, nor in class, nor the teachers.
In the following, the interviewer will ask for details on how things occurred in the situation chronologically. The interviewer should try to fill out blanks in the narrative by using questions like what, where, and then. The interviewer should also try to identify action verbs. These action verbs are being used later on in step 3. Action verbs could be word acts like I said, I showed, I asked.
So you told me there was an argument in the classroom with the student Andrew.
Yeah. Well, it's nothing new, really. It happens frequently, I guess. But this time it felt like I really lost the control of the situation. I think before I always felt that I could talk with him, that he would confide with me and telling me things like, yeah, it's a little bit rough at home and things like this. But now it was like I couldn't get through to him, and yeah, I guess I just lost it.
So this has happened before, but today something was different and you felt that you couldn't get through to him.
Yeah, I just didn't know what to do.
I can see that you are upset about the situation, but just take a deep breath and tell me how it all started.
Yeah. I don't know where to begin, but...
Did it start in the classroom?
Yeah, I was just about to start the class, and I was at the front desk, and Andrew was sitting in the back, as he always does. I hardly ever knows what's happening down there. But now I hear this loud discussion between him and another girl, and the girl starts to cry. So I went there to tell him to stop. I see he gets really annoyed with me, and he leaves the room, shutting the door in my face. I try to go after him, trying to talk with him, but yeah, there was just no use.
So, let's talk some more about what happened. Where were you in the classroom when the argument began?
I was at the front desk. We were just about to start the class, going through some homework.
So you told me before that it's hard to see what happens in the back of the class from
Yeah.
but what did you see happening from where you were standing?
Although there was just so many things going on at the same time.
How many people were involved?
It was Andrew and Natasha, and there was also some other students, but they were kind of backing off because actually I think that Andrew was pushing Natasha, and yeah, I couldn't see exactly what was going on, to be honest, from where I was standing.
So you were standing in the front of the classroom and you see him, Andrew, pushing her.
Yeah, I guess so.
So was anything being said between them while Andrew pushed her?
I think so, but just the act of pushing her, it seemed so violent for being him. But I also think he said some bad things.
What was he saying?
Yeah, he was calling her a retard, and yeah, for me that's completely unacceptable.
So, just as I understand you, after he pushed her, you say that he called her these things.
And after that, and before you went up to him, anything else happened?
It's hard to remember really, but
It's understandable.
she started crying, and when she started crying, I saw that Andrew was about to leave the room, and so I stopped him halfway. Andrew was in the back, was just about to leave the row in the back, and so I told him to stop this immediately. And
what was his response?
Well, I'm not sure, really.
Did he say something?
No, he kept quiet. I think he was startled. I was actually quite shocked myself of how angry it came out.
Well, then what happened?
I told him that the two of us should go and speak separately to discuss what had happened. I also told the other class that they could continue to work on their own, and yeah, then he left, shutting the door in my face, and I went after him, and yeah, we went to another room.
What kind of room was it?
It's like a chat room in school.
Okay. So did anything else happen between you leaving the classroom and entering the chat room?
No. We both kept quiet. He just went along a few meters behind.
So you got to the chat room, and then what happened?
We kept talking for a while without getting anywhere.
How did the conversation start?
It was a bit tentative.
Who started the conversation?
I guess it was me. I said something like, yeah, you know, pushing someone is an act of violence and it will never be accepted at school. And also I said something like, do you realize that the way you express yourself may hurt other people's feelings?
So what did he say?
He said I should care, or I didn't understand that I should back off.
What was your response?
I said, why do you do this? And they say, why do you bother? And I said, because I'm your teacher and during school time you're my responsibility.
Did Andrew say anything?
Yeah, well, he did, but I just had to think about what he said. So.
Take your time, we're not in a hurry.
Yeah, he said something like, why do you care, you know? And I said, you know, I just want to talk. And then he looked really bothered by me, and he said, okay, then talk then if you want to talk, and I could care less.
What did you see?
Well, he got up from the chair, and I told him to sit down again so we could continue the discussion. And I also tried to calm the situation down, because saying something like, oh, you know, it's okay, I just want to talk about what happened. But he was really at his wits. He was throwing the chair down onto the floor and screaming, you know, you don't know anything, any of you, and then he left the room. And yeah, I was just sitting put. I didn't know what to do from there.
Now that the interviewer, together with the teacher, has filled out all the blanks in the narrative, they will take a look chronologically at if the teacher's actions were decided or reacted, which form the decisions had, like advice, order, and so on. Also, which effect the decisions had on all the elements in the situation. And finally, they will look at what strategy the teacher had while making all the decisions in the situation. Remember to keep in mind the importance of the good relationship with the interviewer, and to reduce the feeling of guilt which is common in this situation.
So, now let's continue to talk about your actions during the sequence in and out of the classroom as you described to me. When you first came up to Andrew and told him to stop immediately, was that a decision or a reaction?
What's the difference?
The difference is that decisions have an aim to achieve something, while reactions are based on immediate instinct.
Okay, yeah. Well, I would say it was probably a decision, yeah, because the argument in the back was really disturbing the class. I could see that they were really bothered by it, and yeah, also Natasha was crying, so I had to do something.
So when you say stop immediately, that you said was a decided action, how was that delivered?
I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean like I spoke it out loud, or?
You could say that when you tell Andrew to stop immediately, you do something more than just speak the words. You could, for example, by saying that, either evaluate what he's doing or advise him how to change the way he acts, or order him to change his behavior at an instant.
Okay, yeah.
So, based on that, when you tell Andrew to stop, what are you doing more than just telling him the words?
I think I tell him that his behavior is not okay, that it has to stop.
When you tell him that his behavior must end, what are you doing?
Yeah, I guess I blame him. Telling him to adjust and, yeah, that's probably what I do, but I don't know, ordering, it sounds so rough.
It's all okay. I'm not here to judge you. Let's just discover what happened.
But it was hard, the way I did it.
But what you're feeling now is, what and experiencing now is all normal.
It feels good to know.
Let's just focus on what happened, okay?
Okay.
So, we're talking about when you tell Andrew to adjust, and when you tell him that, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, I guess I discipline him. Or, yeah, it goes without saying. It's probably in order.
So, what does it open up to in this situation?
Well, he's quiet, or what do you mean?
That's that he goes quiet, and what is that?
He listens, or, yeah, maybe he rather obeys what I'm telling him to.
Yeah. And what happens to you?
Well, I'm not sure I am doing what I'm supposed to do as a teacher. I guess I solve situations.
So, does the situation solve?
No, I guess not. I mean, he goes quiet, maybe mumbling.
So, now we've been looking at some of your actions chronologically throughout the situation. And now that we have a sample of what you recalled as decisions, we could talk about the strategies that you used for your decisions. So what was the strategy or main strategy for your decisions?
Well, I'm not sure. I tried to do my job as a teacher, I guess.
Should we take a look at the decisions you made?
Yeah, sure. That would be good. It's really hard to remember.
Looking at your first decision when you told Andrew to stop immediately, you said that that was to discipline him, or you said an order. In your second decision, you said that you should talk separately. So, looking at the decisions you made, what strategies did you use?
Well, I guess I tried to be a responsible teacher, and but at the same time I didn't like his behavior. So I'm not really sure what you mean by strategy.
Well, usually in every situation we use a strategy for our decisions, a common strategy. Let's take a look at this together.
These are typical global strategies, calling for social position, beliefs, or logic, reasoning. Or the empty space here in the corner is for an alternative strategy.
Okay, well, what do you mean?
Well, I guess you could say that social position is when you call for the role as student and teacher and their relation to each other. And beliefs and values is when you evaluate the behavior as being negative or positive. And logic reasoning is questioning according to knowledge. So which strategies we tend to use is based on our identity, which is formed by morals of our group belonging and also by our individual thinking.
I did evaluate his behavior, and I asked him to change his behavior, of course. I also did this in my role as a teacher, but thinking about it now, what I probably mainly did was refer to my role as a teacher and him as a student. So.
What was the result of the strategy you used in this situation?
Not as I wanted.
How would you have wanted it to be?
I wanted Andrew to tell me what had happened, like he usually does.
Did he?
No, he was pretty angry at me.
So what about your expectations of the strategy in this situation?
To get him to tell me what had happened.
Okay. So what was the result?
No, he didn't. He was angry at me. He didn't want to talk with me. So, yeah, there's a gap, I guess.
What can you tell me about the gap between your expectations to solve the problem and the means you used?
Well, I'm thinking that I should have asked him to tell me what had happened, but I just didn't listen.
So your intention to listen and not doing so makes you feel guilty?
Yes, because I couldn't get through to him the way I wanted to.
But in this situation, you used a strategy that was known to you. You did what you could possibly do at the moment.
Yeah, I guess so. But I wish I would have asked him what happened.
In this last step, the interviewer and teacher will focus on one decision in the situation. The interviewer will ask the teacher what he perceived or had in mind while making the decision, and also what was important and prioritized while making the decision. The teacher has chosen his first decision to take a closer look at, and don't continue to ask for importance before the narrator mentioned a few perceptions.
In this situation, when making the decision to tell Andrew to stop immediately, what did you see?
Do you mean like concretely in the room, or?
Let me specify. What perceptions did you take into account when making your decision, like all circumstances in the room?
What do you mean by perception?
Well, perception could be what crossed your mind, what you see, hear, or smell.
Okay, well, I wanted to get out of the room as soon as possible. And yeah, also I was thinking about the other students, that they wouldn't be able to concentrate.
Did you see or have anything else in mind at the moment?
Well, honestly, I didn't want to make a fool of myself. And also, of course, I was thinking about Natasha, that she had to put out with Andrew's attitude.
Which were the most important elements that you took into account when making your decision?
Well, I did want to leave the situation as soon as possible. And yeah, I felt really embarrassed bursting out in front of everybody.
Anything else that stood out from what you had in mind at the moment?
I wanted to get out. I felt really ashamed, and also I wanted to calm Natasha down, but I was also focused on Andrew and to talk with him. Yeah, well, I was thinking that this day I should have got off better, staying home in bed.
Well, what was important to you? What was prioritized when making your decision to tell Andrew to stop immediately?
I think it was leaving the situation. Yeah, to get out as soon as possible, I think.
You have just been watching an introduction to the decision-making interview. We hope that the introduction has given you a brief comprehension on the method of decision-making.